Thank you, Presiding Officer. And just for safety, I declare that I have a registered farm holding of 3 acres. I get no income from it. My neighbour keeps some sheep on it. And just to pick up on something Alec Ferguson said, and perhaps like others, he should read more and more often. The 28th member of the European Union will, of course, be Croatia. Very shortly. They have been attending various council meetings now for something like a year. However, this debate is an important debate, and I congratulate the Liberals for securing time for it. I think, if anything we've seen in this debate, it illustrates that perhaps the time allocated is not sufficient to cover all the issues in sufficient detail. But it's better than not talking about it at all. It is better to discuss the subject without deciding than to decide a subject without discussing. Our focus is about appropriate support for farmers and for the communities of which they are part. It has been a rather unhelpful part of the debate in Europe, to which the UK in particular, but not alone, has contributed, looking at the cost of supporting farming communities across the EU. The reality is, of course, and I know members across the Chamber will agree, that there are very significant benefits that derive from supporting our farmers as well, and the communities in which they are embedded. The Scottish Government has undertaken significant consultation and has a programme of significant engagement. The key thing is that, of course, we are very different. That is simply a matter of geography, not a matter of politics. And that does mean, therefore, that we need different solutions. We need a different approach. One thing that I do want to talk about that emerged from the consultation is broad support for the principle of greening. But, of course, the principle of greening is one thing. Farmers are, after all, by their very nature, engaged in green issues, understand them, depend on the quality of the environment in which they operate. And it was, when I was the Environment Minister, a delight to visit a climate change demonstrator farm to see some of the real hands-on action that was taking place. But there is a danger that inappropriate use of greening can damage the interests of some of our farmers. So this needs to be treated with great caution. Almost every speaker has said Scotland is different. What I have been saying hopefully reinforces it. Claire Baker said 85% or thereby of our land is less favoured area, and that is quite different from elsewhere in these islands. And our being different, Rem Aku Tete Giski touching the point, is precisely why we need to have our Cabinet Secretary not simply as part of the UK delegation, but able to participate directly in the debates in Environment Council and elsewhere. We get to influence, but we don't get to contribute to the decisions. Presiding Officer, a couple of things just to conclude. The difficult issue of capping payments seems to have some support in the consultation, and with a mix of large, very large, and small, very small farming businesses in the North East, that's a subject I'll watch with great interest indeed. But there is absolute certainty on the current EU rules that we would have more under the existing rules than we do at the moment. I will track this with considerable interest. Presiding Officer.